He doesn't know how to do it because he's never done it before. He's never worked. Now God has a very special way. You go and work, and I'm going to add my strength upon you, and I'm going to give you my grace. And God is going to give you His grace even more. That is what the church is. God never shortchanges anyone who serves Him. And from the time I graduated from seminary up until now, it's been 27 years. Within those 27 years, my God has never shortchanged me. I've served God. I've served God because I want to repay His goodness toward me. And Paul says,
I'm crazy for the Lord.
I'm crazy for the Lord. And if a person knows God's grace,
he'll be crazy for the Lord.
He's going to become crazy for the Lord. But let me tell you something. Sometimes we don't understand what it means to be crazy for the Lord. Actually, it is very simple. If you truly love something, you will certainly do crazy things in the eyes of people. Do you understand what I mean? If you want something,
you do something crazy.
You're going to do something crazy. Philippines don't love football too much. Philippines love basketball. But Hong Kong people, they love football. Especially the World Cup that is held every 4 years. In Hong Kong, you know, when it comes to the World Cup, a lot of people are crazy about it. Just especially men.
They are crazy.
They are crazy.
They're crazy for the football.
They're so crazy for football. For example,
今日咧透早3點是世界 World Cup 嘅最尾一個比賽。
For example, it's a championship game of the World Cup at 3 o'clock in the morning today.
嗰時巴西對英國。
And it's Brazil versus England.
你若是愛巴西嘅人啊
And if you are a fan of Brazil,
you will do something crazy.
You will certainly be crazy.
今日咧
This morning,
你嚟禮拜堂聚會
you come to church for service.
service 以後轉做我。
After the service, just like me.
我 crazy， 我真係講 football。
Like me, I'm crazy for football.
查基講道。
I preach the whole morning.
講到12點。
And I preach up until 12 o'clock.
然後佢church council。
And then after that, I've got to have the church council meeting up until like 5 or 6 o'clock.
暗暝嗰一個聚會。
And in the evening, I've still got a service to attend. And I go home 9 o'clock.
嗱，拜一
And if on Monday,
我到啊需要去香港，
I needed to go to Hong Kong,
你知無？
you know what?
2點我就起來，
2 o'clock, I'll wake up.
備辦一切嘅代誌。
I will prepare everything.
什麼 soft drink 咯，什麼話個別嘅擺咧。
Soft drinks and then my snacks and everything. I've done
2點50分
At 2:50,
趕緊衝去廁所，
I will rush to the toilet
因為開始就冇去廁所咯。
because when the football game starts, you cannot go to the
準
toilet
3 點
anymore. At 3 o'clock sharp,
嘩，
switch on the TV and watch.
你嘅母會同你講，笑嘅啲神經病，
Your wife is going to tell you, you're crazy.
實是神經病啊，
You're really crazy.
都唔免困你啊，
You don't need to sleep.
因為心內會一個 crazy。
You don't even have to sleep because you're crazy in
你
your
若愛
heart.
一個物件
If you love something,
，you do something crazy。
you're going to do something crazy.
咱當間少年人檢測唔知喎，
Young people among us perhaps do not know this.
這是英國嘅國王 Edward the
This
Eighth，
is King Edward VIII
但是佢將這個
of England.
這個英國嘅王位放落嚟，
But he was willing to let go of his throne,
為咗佢結俾這個女嘅，
of the crown, because of this girl,
這個 Mrs. Simpson。
Mrs. Simpson.
這個人是已經離婚了嘅婦人，
Well, this woman was a divorced woman.
但這個 Edward 愛着佢，
But Edward loved him so
愛及
much.
佢近手，
And he wanted to marry him.
但是英國嘅這個呢個 royal family 反對，
But the royal family was very much
你嚟
against
及
it.
佢近手，
If you marry her,
你就將這個王位放落嚟，
then you've got to give up your throne.
這個人 crazy，
And this person was really
為
crazy
咗愛情
because of love.
而放失依家嘅王位，
He was willing to give up his throne. This was something that happened like way back 1936 to 37.
我覺得咱真最都未出世。
And perhaps most of us weren't born yet.
看喺世界，我講嘅人很少嘅啊，
And now you see that there are indeed people who are so crazy
為
in this
愛
world.
情少嘅啊，
They are so crazy because of
為
love.
運動少嘅
They
啊。
are so crazy because of sports.
請問
Let me ask you then,
你不為什麼比較少？
for what have you been or are you crazy about?
你講有啊，我為紙少啊。
Well, you may say yes. Oh,
對
I'm
啦
crazy
對啦，
about money.
除了
Yes.
紙以外，有什麼少無呢？
Oh, well, apart from money, what else are you crazy about?
叫做幫襯人，
May God help us.
為上帝少。
Let us be crazy for God.
我就講 I'm crazy for the Lord。
Paul says, I am crazy for the Lord.
主幫襯人，
May God help us.
上帝心意，
God's desire
好教會各盡其職。
is that in the church that everyone will do his part of the
好每
work
一個聖道，
so that every believer
有起來承擔應該承擔嘅責任。
will rise up and carry the responsibility that we ought to be carrying.
你若實在信主嘅人，好上帝拯救嘅人，
If you are truly a believer, a person who has been saved by God,
你應該起來侍奉上帝。
we ought to rise up and serve him.
唔免最啊少嘅罪。
Let us not do too much though.
我是真正無愛人行不罪，
And I really don't like people doing too much anyways.
因為行不罪，逐項都最為可惜。
Because if you want to do everything, then you don't do everything well.
你就 focus
You've got
on something。
You've got to be focused on something.
你知影我是真愛彈琴嘅人，
You know, I am a person who loves to play the piano.
你唔知哦？
You don't know
我
that.
讀神那嘅時陣，
When I was in the seminary,
我到了讀聖經，
apart from reading the Bible,
就佢哋琴嘅鼻頭大，
I would be practicing playing the piano all the time.
大了2年。
I was playing for like 2 years.
但是我嘅先師同我講出句話，
But then my teacher told me,
佢講做啦咪啊，
says Jeremiah,
你唔是彈琴嘅人，
you are not you are not good in playing the piano.
你講你嘅手親像一個 chicken 嘅 feet，
Your hands are like chicken feet, he
你
said.
唔是彈琴嘅手。
Your hands are not for playing the
你
piano.
講你聽我嘅意見，唔通個彈琴。
Listen to my opinion. Listen to my advice. Please stop playing the piano. he
了
said.
你嘅時間，
You're just wasting your time, he
你
said.
好去讀聖經，好去講道，
Just read the Bible well and practice preaching
因
well.
為你是講道嘅人。
Because you are born a preacher.
我 get the advice from my teacher，
And I accepted my advice from my
唔是
teacher.
但都攞罪，
It's that not that you do everything.
罪你應該罪嘅代志。
Do what you ought to do.
好教會實個建立主耶穌基督嘅聖
So
徒，教
that the
會
church will together build up the body of the Lord Jesus Christ. That is the church.
佢就講真啊。
May God help us.